Awesome. So my name is Megan Lloyd, and I know that some of you I've worked with before, some of you I've never met before. And so I'll do a really quick introduction on who I am and why I do this training and some of the things that you can find here. So I have been part of doTERRA for about 10 years, not building the business myself, but I was Patrick and Elise Chedevy's assistant full-time in an office a decade ago. And then I worked as a virtual assistant to another presidential diamond, Callie Wilson, for several years after that. And then I started my own business, working with a lot of doTERRA leaders like you and other business owners who want to find and train assistants. And so I kind of have my hand in a few different pies right now. I do a lot of course creation and things like that. But for today's purposes, one of the things that I love to do, and I think I get the most questions about, is what tools should I use to support and grow my business? And so that's one of the things that I spend a lot of time talking with clients or prospective clients about. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, and showing you some of my favorite ones, including Trello, this Trello system that I created. If it's something that you want to use, Trello is free, and so are my templates. And then I have a few others that I think all essential oil leaders should probably know about as well, because they're just that great. Not even my own, but just ones that I've seen have a really big impact on other people's businesses. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm all about. So I want this to be interactive. So if you have any questions, please either raise your hand or unmute or type something into the chat, because we'll be monitoring that closely. But I would love to know where you're all calling from. If you want to type in the chat where you're located, I would love to get to know where we are in the world. I'm here in Utah. So it's about 30 degrees outside right now. It's not terrible. Italy, New York, awesome. Switzerland and Cyprus, Tempe, Arizona, Kentucky, awesome. So great to have you all here. Austin, Texas, fabulous. Well, welcome. So let me just jump right in. Let me kind of explain what these Trello templates are. Some of you are, well, actually really quick in the chat, who is already using them and who is, you are, Amy? Oh, good. So maybe tell me how much you're using them. Are you using them actively, and you're just wanting to know how to better optimize them? Or are some of you not using them at all and just want to see if this will work for you? Tara says not using yet, every day. Jenna's using them. Okay, created but never started. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then Amy, you sounds like you're using them quite a bit. I want to learn more about them, have done some training a little bit. Someone says not really, Mind Master and soon Asana. Want to use them daily. Okay, good. That gives me a good sense of how what everybody's experience level is with this. So Trello was really awesome, and the reason I did this is because you know, in your business, you're always told, create a duplicable system. Like, don't do something that your leaders could not then walk away and do as well. Because if you bring on builders, like, wow, I can't pay for that big heavy system, and I can't do, that's a lot. But if there's something that's very simple and elegant that you can say, hey, I'm using this and you can too, and the cost is so small, maybe even no cost, depending on, you know, if they want to pay for Trello or not. I feel like that's the ultimate solution. And of course, Trello doesn't do everything like a major CRM would, but it definitely will get you and your leaders started. In fact, a few years ago, when I was an assistant, one of the presidential diamonds I was working for, she wouldn't even work with some of her builders until they created their own Trello accounts and started using some of these templates I created, because she found it was just such a good way to work with them. So what I want to do today is I want to show you some of the main boards, kind of give you an overview of how they function and how you can use them, and then know that the process that I've outlined in these systems, you can take and put on a different system. Let's say ClickUp is your space, or whatever it is. Like, if there's a different place that you want to live and have and create this process, the main idea is that we are creating a process to support your three main groups: your prospects, your customers, and your builders. And so we want to make sure that all three are fully taken care of. And so even before you can even start using these funnels or any other kind of system, you need to walk through and write down your process. What do you want your prospects to experience from the moment that they say, I would love to know more about essential oils? What are the next steps? Is it a texting campaign? Are they getting some emails? Are they getting a phone call with you? Like, are they getting, what are they experiencing? A postcard in the mail? You need to write out that process so that it's super clear and then drop it into this system or whatever system you end up using. So should we dive in and I'll show you a couple of boards? Okay, this one, let's see, can you see my, my Trello board? Okay, perfect. So this is the prospect funnel. And the main idea is that Trello is super simple to use. All of these things can move to different spots. You can even move entire sections if you want those to change. So everything is customizable. This is just an idea to get you started of what a prospect process could look like. And the main idea is you are going to come in and you're going to, and Jennifer, thank you so much for being here and letting people into the waiting room. My assistant is here, keeping everything taken care of in the background while I'm going. So thanks, Jennifer. So the main idea is that this is essentially your names list, and it could be your new builders names list as well. So when they are coming up with all the people that they want to share essential oils with, you could just have them come here and add their names in. So you can either add a card, but it won't draw in any of the templates I've created, or you can click this little button and it will draw in this template card and everything that's inside of it. So this template card has everything from pre-enrollment all the way to being a builder if they wanted it. And obviously some people won't go that far, but some will, but each card will have all the information that you potentially need. So when you're first getting started, I recommend making sure that this template card is how you want it and it includes what you want, and then making sure that this same process up here is how you want your prospects to experience. So basically the card and up here are the same. And here's what will happen. So you meet someone named Susan at the grocery store and you start talking about essential oils and you get her information and say, I'll send you some oils or a sample or whatever your process is. So then we bring Susan in and now you can see Susan's card has everything from the template, everything from pre-enrollment to builder, and you can check things off if you want. And then you can drag her along into the different sections. So you've made an initial contact. Now she needs her samples to be shipped. And what I've tried to do is I wanted to fill each step of the process with resources for you so that it already comes preloaded with templates or ideas to get you going. So this one, samples to be shipped, here are some really great resources, things that I know a lot of people will sometimes ship in these sample packages, pirate ship, and a few other things. Obviously, I know some of you are out of the US, and so pirate ship may not work for you, but if you are in the US, it's a really great resource. And so basically, if Susan is in this column, that's the step she needs. She needs her samples to be shipped. And then you can just keep moving her along to the next step of the process. But let's say that you do something different between here and here, or maybe you don't even ship samples. Then you can come over here and add a new list. We're going to call this a test list. And you can just drag and drop it right here and then add your own card. And you can call this, add your own resources if you want. You can add a new label so it looks the same as well and looks exactly like everything else does. This is fully customizable, and the whole idea is that one size doesn't fit all. I have a lot of clients who don't send samples and they have an entirely different process. So again, figure out what that looks like for you. I have included a lot of the back to basics resources here from Elise and Patrick Shedevy. So like the class or one-to-one, I've included some of the texting scripts or email scripts that they have provided and put those in here so that you can see it all in one space. So let's say that you were sending them a reminder to attend that class, then here is the texting script right from Elise's program. And you can obviously customize it and make it your own so it feels authentic. Any questions on that so far? Go ahead and obviously fill the chat up with any questions you have, because I want to make sure that you feel super confident in this. And I like to say that if you're thinking the question, 99% of the time somebody else is thinking it too. So don't hold back. One thing I do want to mention is that every board comes with a special superpower, and that's called a power up. And not all of them have one activated. So if you want to add a special power to your board, you can. There are limitations on the free version of Trello on how many power ups you can have per board and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that currently you can only have one power up per board, but they're always changing what's in their free plan. So you can go look at their website and see what's on their free plan. But if you do want to to add a superpower to your board and have it integrate with other platforms, for example, click on Show Menu on the top right-hand corner, click the left-hand button, and then you can see some of these power-ups that are here. So if you click Add Power-Up, now we can go start exploring some of the superpowers that you can add to your board. And there are a ton. And so I really recommend that if you're just getting started or feel like this is overwhelming, maybe don't come in here yet. This is something, if you're like, man, it would just be so great if it integrated with this thing, I'm going to go and see if it does. And then you can type in, Google integration, or type in Google, or type in, actually, I spelled Google wrong. There you go. And you can kind of see all the integrations that it brings in. And obviously you'll be a little bit limited on the free version, but you can have one free power up. Some of these power ups require you to pay for them, others do not. But again, don't get lost in here until you're ready, because that you can spend a lot of time getting buried in all the possibilities. So at the very least, start with just bringing your people here. And we do have a way to, and that's a good question. AJ says, is there any automation involved with the back office or back to basics text, for example? Oh, you mean like sending out the actual text message through Trello? No. And so that's why this is free, because Trello won't be the one that sends out those messages for you. But this is a great place where you can say, okay, they need to receive that message. And when they're in that space, then you can use something like Project Broadcast, where you actually drop in that person's information into your account. And you can still, I know a lot of people that will use Trello in combination with some of these things. So actually activate those steps, like an email service or a texting service. So Trello doesn't do the actual automation for you. It's mostly so you can see what your process is and where people are in that step. If you added a step in here that they needed to be added to your texting service, and you can drop it right here. And then when they're in that column, to add them to the texting service. And once they're added, they're in, and then you can move them to the next step. So I hope that clarifies. Okay, any questions on the prospect board? We're going to kind of blow through these pretty quickly because there's quite a few different templates that I've created, but I do want to make sure that that you can move cards. Let's say that this prospect has now enrolled and we need to move her to the customer board. We are going to click on this little pencil icon and we're just going to click move. And you're going to choose the customer board. And I have so many different versions of it. I'm hoping I'm moving her to the right one. Move. And then now when we come to the customer board, there is Susan. She's already there and she keeps all of the same information that she had on her card before. And some people I know love to use the card, and while other people just drag them along in the funnel. You figure out what works for you. If you use the card, then this is a great place to kind of, say, yes, she's had a sample, she's had a follow-up and all these different things. And you'll notice that they match what's up here for the most part. This is also a great place to be like, okay, she told me her number is this and her email is this, and this is when we started talking about her health concerns. I don't want to forget that she told me that she has A, B, and C, because these are the things I think would help her. And so let's say you're at the grocery store with her, by the way, and she's telling you all these different things. You can pull up your Trello app on your phone and type in these notes in her card, so it's all in one place. And so she's giving you her address or whatever it is so that you can send the samples. You can keep it all here so it's not lost. How many of you have like sticky notes in your purse or your bag of all the different people you've contacted and have lost it because it's just buried in your purse somewhere? Okay, somebody says, Eleanor says, is there an easy way to bring people straight from the back office for a reactivation campaign, for example? So we do have a tutorial that I can send out with these notes on how it doesn't integrate exactly, because you'll find that doTERRA has yet to integrate with any platform on purpose because they want to protect their customer data. So it doesn't integrate exactly, but we show you how to run the report and upload the file so that it brings in each person to your board. So we can send that to you, everybody who registered for this afterwards. Let's see. Marjorie says, if you're familiar with Zapier, there is a way to create a zap that will take each line from a spreadsheet and create a separate card for each. And you can customize the info that you want added and where in the card you want it to be. Yeah, Zapier will do that. And I think intro map might as well. Oops, I'm not sure what happened right there. My computer just kind of walked out for a second. Back for a second. Okay, yeah. So we'll send you some videos so that you can kind of get a sense for how that might work for you. if you want to bring stuff in from the back office. The reason though that doTERRA doesn't integrate with very many things is because too many people start getting spammy with their customers and don't send things of value. And so you need to make sure that whatever you send is full of value. Okay, now moving along. Oh, actually, we didn't even talk about the customer funnel. So the customer funnel, this one is really fun, I think, because this is obviously when they've now decided to get started. I've included, so let's say that you do a welcome package or a welcome something right when they get started with you. I've actually included an email template that you can use and customize yourself to start your own welcome email. And I've included a few things that I know that some people will include in their welcome packages, some gift ideas, and so on. And now she needs her lifestyle overview or wellness consult. And again, I've included a lot of the resources here on how to conduct those effectively and whatnot. But again, let's say that you don't do some of these things, just remove it entirely from your funnel and go from there. If you do have an assistant, I have all these little red boxes where if you click on it, you can see like ideas of things that your assistant can do for each step of the process. You obviously need to tell your assistant, hey, PS, like this is what we're going to start doing. And here's exactly how I want you to operate within this system. But you'll need to kind of work with them one-on-one on what that looks like. Okay, so continuing ed. I've included a ton of all the continuing ed resources here from Back to Basics and whatnot, so that you can add, and you can add your own as well. If you have your own PowerPoints or templates, you can drop your own links. You can drop stuff from Google Drive. You can drop YouTube videos, whatever it is that you use, you can send to these people. Actually, I did want to mention over here on the prospect funnel that with, let's see. Actually, no, that's in the builder funnel. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so yeah, okay, there's a lot here, but I don't have time to go through every step of the process, but overall, the idea is to make sure that you're supporting your customers. And I want to mention this one process that I know a lot of people might find value from. How many of you have heard of Betty Torres? She's one of the top leaders in doTERRA. Yeah, she's fantastic. She actually, years ago, she did a training for a whole other team. Anyway, she talked about this process and it was amazing. And she has, if you don't know, one of the highest retention rates in the company. And it's fantastic because she does this process, and I'm going to explain what she does. What she basically does is she handholds them for 9 full months. So month 1 through 3, when she enrolls them, she actually does their LRP for them. So she actually logs into their back office and places the orders that they pre-discussed, because hopefully in your lifestyle overview or wellness consult, you've already been making a plan with them for what they want to order for the next few months. And then she gets permission from them to actually log into their back office for the next few months and place the orders on their account for them so that they don't have to. And she says, I'll do that for 3 months. So what she does is she sends them this text message, something similar to it, that just says, hey, your doTERRA order is about to process. You mentioned that you wanted these products. Do you want anything changed before I go in and change it in a couple of days? And you can schedule these, by the way, in Project Broadcast or whatever. And most texting platforms will let you do this, that you can set up an actual campaign that you drop people into, so that on the certain day of the month, right before their order processes, this message will automatically go out for the next 3 months. And then month 4 through 6, she helps them place their orders. And so she'll send them another message that says, hey, your order is about to process again. Do you have a few minutes that we can sit down and I will help you place your order on your account? And then what this does is every single month, she's getting a check-in with this customer, an informal one, but they're naturally going to ask questions like, hey, my brother-in-law just experienced this thing. Do you know anything that might help? Or, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to best utilize this thing. We're not seeing the results we want. And so then you can start resolving concerns and helping them along the way, so they have someone in their back pocket. And the reason why this is so key is because network marketing is a relationship business. And so that's why she has one of the highest retention rates in the company, is because she is building relationships and solving problems. And she's not just enrolling them and saying, all right, let me know if you need anything. And then they kind of disappear and drop off. And so then what happens months 7 through 9, she sends a similar message that says, hey, your order is about to process. Just a reminder, go in and update it before X date so that you don't get the same things you got last month. And how elegant is that? So she's sort of walking them through this whole process and staying in touch with them along the way. And so you may want to integrate or do something similar with your customers so that they get that frequent touch base with you and they're not lost. And I've included all those texting scripts here for you. Okay, now that they have gone through all the different things, maybe you do continuing ed or you do a business made easy class or whatever it is that you do, they've gone through everything. Let's make sure that they at least, even if you don't do that LRP support, that they at least have a 3, 6, and an 11.5 month check-in. I've drafted some text message or messages on what those could look like. And this 11.5 month one is particularly important because this is the one where we know on month 12, they're going to have a new payment on their account for their account to reactivate so that they have another year membership. And a lot of people get surprised by that, but you can send them a message that says, hey, don't worry about this $25 charge. You're actually going to get a free peppermint. So it like washes out anyway. It's going to be awesome. Just as like Costco so that you can still keep your membership, whatever. Keep the wholesale prices. But if they have to come to you after it's processed, they're like, what is this extra charge on my account? I don't know what's going on. And then now you're having to like put out fires like, it's fine. Let me explain what that actually is. Instead, you kind of get ahead of it and let them know about it before it happens. And then it's a non-issue. So whatever you do, I've tried to make it easy for you to take these things and put them into your own process, whatever it is that you use. Maybe you drop these into an email campaign or you drop it into your texting campaign so that all these messages are going out. You can automate them in other platforms. Okay, another question came in. Do you log into their personal account to place their order? Or how do you do it from the back office? So for what Betty Torres does is she actually does log into their personal account because if you're placing an order on your account for them, they're not getting the benefits on their personal account for those orders. Like they're not getting any shipping rewards or LRP points or any of those. So you want to make sure that you get permission from them to log into their account and you don't just do it for them without that permission. So you have to specifically say, would you like me to log into your account for the next few months and help you and place your orders for you? And I'll send you a reminder before I do, just to confirm what you want on your order for that month. I'll only do that for 3 months and then I'll help you the next 3 months. And then by then you should have a handle on it. And you just need to make sure it's super clear so they know that you're going to be logging in using their password and everything. Okay, great question. Okay, so the builder funnel, let's move Susan over to the builder funnel. Let's say that she has decided that she wants to build. She is for sure, okay, here we go, builder funnel. She has decided she wants to partner with you in the business. And actually, I think I moved her to a different builder funnel. So we're just going to make a new one. I just have several different templates for different things. So we're just going to call this Susan again. Okay, so basically the builder funnel is split up into 2 different sections. Everything from here over is before they've decided to start to build. Everything from week 1 to 12 is, okay, they've actually are building and these are some of the resources that you can walk them through. And I'll walk you through what this looks like. So at first, Susan needs the invite to build. And here are a few resources that you can use to do that. And a lot of the stuff from the back to basics. Here are some scripts that you can use. And again, when you see scripts, I always recommend going through it and customizing it so that it works for you. And you don't need to say exactly what it says. It's just a guideline so that you feel like you aren't missing things when you actually get on the phone and start getting a little bit nervous and forget what you want to say. But customize it to you. If something feels inauthentic, don't say it. Make sure it feels like you. Once they've had the invite to build, and you've had that phone call, then you can send this nurturing email. And I've already gone through the effort of writing the email out for you. And I've included several important links that you may want to share them. In fact, Emily Pfeiffer, she's a diamond in the company as well. And these are some of the links that she specifically shares with people when they first want to know about doTERRA. And she will send like what are essential oils from doTERRA. She'll send one of the sourcing videos. The Nepal one is particularly good. And then there's a few other videos, like a little snippet snippet on what it looks like to build a financial pipeline and the philosophy of service, not sales from Tiffany Peterson. And so there's some really great resources to get them to feel a little bit about the culture of the company and what it is, how the compensation plan might work, just kind of teasing them a little bit with it. So you would send that email, wait 40 hours, 48 hours, and then have a follow-up call. And then here's the little bit of a message of what you could discuss with them. And then after you have that call, then you're going to send them a second email with some additional content. It's a little bit more on the comp plan, a little bit more about the mindset and personality of building a company, the law of the harvest with Tiffany Peterson. P.S. These are such great videos. She has such good ones. So you can, if you don't like any of these, then put your own. Again, this is fully customizable. You can change everything here just by clicking on it. And now you can add your own video. You can delete this entirely and add your own. Maybe you have ones that you particularly have recorded and you want to send out. Fabulous. That's so great. Add your own. But if you want some of the ones that are already out there, then those are there for you too. So now Susan has had her follow-up, her nurturing email, and she's like, yes, I want to do this. So what you're going to do is start her with these weekly support calls. And that's why they're called week 1, week 2, week 3. Because just like as a customer, where they need that regular touch to be successful in doTERRA, or as a customer and to continue to order and feel confident in ordering, so do your builders. There's a honeymoon period, usually after about 3 weeks, where they start to be like, oh, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't know if I can do this. And so you want to be there and help resolve those concerns right when they happen. So let's look at week 1. And again, you can do something totally different, but here is an idea of the checklist of things you may want to discuss with them on week 1, what they've decided to build, and schedule these weekly calls the same time every week for the next several weeks so that it's on both of your calendars. But obviously it's important to talk about setting their LRP template and what that means, helping them fill out the direct deposit form. So when they get paid, these kind of things that some people forget to do, and then getting them starting to listen to some of the daily mentor calls from Elise and Patrick, if that's part of your process. If it's not, then you do your own thing and you can delete that. Have them complete their names list and then add them to their own Trello board, have their own prospect list, and so on. So there's some things that you can kind of walk them through, but I would go through this checklist and make sure it includes the things that you want it to. Now that week 1 has happened, you're going to move to week 2. And this is all about sampling. You're going to talk about effective sampling and getting them set up with some tools and those kinds of things so that everything is, they have what they need to then start actually doing some of these things that you're teaching them. Really quick, let's see. Sarah says, these boards are amazing. They've been working amazing and my client modified them as she wanted. I also created a separate onboarding board since she has a specific process where she wants all the new members to go through in order to be fully supported. I love that, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, Sarah is an assistant in my program working for a client in Chile. And so I'm excited to see how people are different use cases for this. So I won't go through every single week, but essentially they're mapped out for you so that you can just get started with them right away and make sure that, yep, I can check off that I've done all of these different things for her. And they are all here, PS. They are all here in her card. So new builder support, week 1. Now you can say, okay, yep, we talked about getting your LRP template going. We have talked about your direct deposit form and everything. This is right within Sarah's card if you are using the template that I created. So you can check them off within her card exactly. So instead of having to just see them in the resource section, you can see these in her card so that it moves with her. So if you ever forget what you talked about with her, it's all there, which is so nice. Okay. So that's, and you can kind of go through and look at those a little bit more since there's a lot in each week, but I won't go through every single one. Taking a breather for a second, because I know I'm just plowing through. Any questions so far? Okay. Now we're kind of getting away from the 3 different funnels and getting into some of these other boards that will also support your business. This one is particularly fun and it works internationally. This is your shipping tracker. So let's say that you have, Susan samples that you want to ship. Oh, actually, this was a good example of not doing it the right way. I'm going to archive that. When you're creating a card, again, don't just click add card, click create from the template. And now title it Susan Susan samples or whatever. And you can even, if you send things for rank advancement and for prizes for oil camp and, samples, you may want to just say Susan samples so that you remember, right, that was Susan samples, not her oil camp stuff, so that you can see right away. And you can even include, you can type in all the different things that you're sending and whatnot, because how many of you have sent out stuff and you forget what you put in the box and like, hey, weren't you going to send me this? I'm like, I thought I did. I don't remember what was in it. So you can just keep a record of it all here so that it's not lost. And then you can also, how many of you have experienced when you send something off and then somebody says, I never got that package. You said it was supposed to be here by now and I haven't seen it. You're like, ooh, let me go see if I can find that receipt that had that tracking number buried in my purse. Oh no, I don't have it anymore. So this is what you do instead. So now when you ship that package, you're going to come here to this power up that's already on the board and you're going to click track package and you're going to type in the package, the tracking number. And this works internationally. You're going to choose the carrier. Are you in Germany? Are you in Italy? Where are you? And you're going to choose the carrier, Brazil, that you used. I think it includes most of them. If yours isn't there, then I'm so sorry, but there are a ton of other ones that are. So you're going to choose the carrier that you use. I think this particular one was USPS. So I'm just going to say test. We're going to call this test. And you're going to click track. Now it's going to load all the tracking information. So you can just click on it and you can kind of see where that package, this is a really, really old package. So this is actually not the greatest example because it's like a year old. But you can see on the front of the card that they have been delivered. And so when I'm coming, instead of like clicking on it and trying to figure out where everything is, the front of the card will actually show you where it is. Is it in transit? Has it been shipped? It's actually delivered. So then you can click on it and see where it got lost, and because it shows to you that it's delivered, then you can say, go meet with your carrier and see if it's in your post box, office box, or whatever it is. But how nice is that, right? To just have everything in one place. And there's a phone app, PS. So if you're at the post office store, you can just take a picture of your receipt and put it in their card so that it's all in one spot so that it can be mobile friendly and everything. Okay, another board that's super helpful, that is super simple yet elegant, is this qualifying leaderboard. How many of you do weekly mentor calls with even if you just have one builder and you're doing a weekly mentor call with them and you're writing on sticky notes of all the things that you said you were going to do and what they're going to do, and it's all over the place. This is where you keep track of those notes so that your to-dos are taken care of. And you're so funny. I'm just giggling at some of you right now. Relating, I think, is what's happening here. So what you're going to do is you're going to write the frontline leaders up here. So maybe Emily is one of them and Dan is another one, and you're just going to write all their names. And then you're going to create a card. Again, use this little template button and create a card for Emily, even though she's on your front line, and then create a card for all of her leaders, her qualifiers. And so maybe, and again, you probably have like a few people there depending on how big your team is. So if Emily, this is Emily's line and Emily's line, you have a card for Emily and you have a card for her qualifiers. So what this does is that when you meet with Emily, you can then go down here and actually, because this is a template, it doesn't show everything. So when you actually add it to your account, it will have another section down here and you can add some notes. But what I like to do is add a checklist, and I will call this, let's see, today is January 13 notes. So now it drops to the bottom and you can just start typing all the notes that you and Emily talked about on your call today. You can say, okay, I was going to do this. She was going to do that. We talked about this. And if it's a to-do item, then you can actually say Emily and put her next to it, and so forth. If you're paying for Trello, you can actually click on this and choose a date that it's due, and you can add a person to it and everything. But if you're not paying for Trello, some of those additional features aren't there, but you can just write it down and say, Emily was going to do this by this date, X date. And I'm going to delete that so it's not on the template anymore. But this makes it super elegant. So when you come back and look the next week when you meet with Emily, you'll be like, oh, okay, so last week you said you were going to do this and I was going to do this. Tell me, give me the follow-up on how that went. Did you get to talk to so-and-so? Okay, you did. All right, let's check it off. And then you're checking things off as you go. And it's super nice to have everything just all together so that you can use those meetings effectively instead of being like, oh my goodness, I don't remember what we talked about. Remind me what you said you were going to do. Oh, right. That's right. We talked about so-and-so. It's all coming back to me. Just keep it all in one place. And I'm going to delete that really quickly. Okay, another breather. How are y'all doing? Is this helpful? Do you feel like this will serve you in your business? And how awesome that they're free, which is the best part of it, right? Trello is free. My templates are free. So you and all of your leaders can walk away and get started whenever you want with these. One other thing I wanted to show you, and I'm going to show you this with a caveat because this is totally just a template. This is just an idea, especially with COVID, everything is changing. But what I've done, a lot of my clients have really appreciated when when I do this every year, where I gather all of the doTERRA dates that I'm aware of and I drop them into a calendar. So generally, and again, I'm saying generally, it's not like, well, because it was on here, it's for sure happening, because COVID changes everything, life happens. But generally, these are some of the things that usually happen. I'm showing you when Diamond Club is usually happening, when the incentive trips usually are, when spring tours happen. I say possible BOGO week because sometimes a BOGO happens this month, those kinds of things. Like, it's never for sure. So if you're going to use this, I need you to have that caveat and don't like stick your head on it. But if you want to go see and go to the doTERRA's website, you can actually click on, let's see, some of these things, and it will take you to like the spring tours. Some of them anyway, not all of them. And it will take you to the websites for those things and the Europe convention, and you can kind of see all the other details, or just go to doTERRA's website and search yourself for some of the other things. But this gives you an idea of what to plan for. Like the holiday guide usually goes live in December, and I've even included on the top, right underneath each of the months, some ideas for themes. These aren't necessarily doTERRA's themes, but sometimes they line up with what doTERRA is doing, because that's when people are thinking about goals and resolutions, and nutrition and exercise is usually in January. In February, it's the month of love. So maybe you do some things on intimacy or fertility, healthy relationships, self-love, whatnot. So I've given you some ideas of content even for each month of the year. So I will share this with you just in the chat, because that's probably not going to be, we'll also share it in the meeting notes just so that you have everything. But there it is in the chat. And again, you have to use that, and just the disclosure that everything's not set in stone. But how helpful is that to just sort of see it at a glance, what's usually happening with doTERRA month by month, right? So that you can plan on it. So now that we talked a little bit about Trello, before I move away from Trello, does anybody have any questions about this? Do you feel, and again, a lot of what I do, some people will hire me just to coach them on Trello, to like set up a process for them specifically, because they may come to my training and be like, this sounds amazing, but I'm so overwhelmed with the thought of actually like trying to come up with a process for me and my team, and implementing it and creating the board and everything. So if that's something that you would find helpful, I do have a whole, I do work with clients one-on-one to actually set up that process. And we spend the first hour just talking all about your prospect funnel. The next week we would do the customer, and the next week the builder funnel. We just kind of work through them one by one. Whether you want me to help implement some things, or whether you want me to like coach you on it, we can kind of figure out where you want to be. So if that's helpful to you, we can drop we'll send you my calendar links in the email notes so that you can contact me. But after Trello, there's a ton of other resources, not a ton, but there are a few other select resources that I've seen have the most impact and bang for your buck, that serve doTERRA customers specifically, or doTERRA leaders in nurturing your team. One of them, I'm just going to go through them really quickly so that you can see them. The Essential Connection Co. is so great. This basically is, they've come up with all of these different templates. When you're talking like, I've included some scripts and things in the Trello funnels, but this is taking it even another level, where they have these images and texting scripts that you can drop into Project Broadcast, or you can drop them into Instagram DMs, like in ManyChat, so that people can DM you, say, hey, I'm going to message me the word mood in my DM, or text me the word mood, and you'll get my mind and mood class, one message a day for the next 7 days. And it will automatically go out when they text you that message. And they're getting basically a virtual class from you. And you can customize them all and put your own videos and links and whatnot there. But how nice that they've already done a lot of the setup for you. So that's one, Essential Connection Co. I personally like Project Broadcast, and it's really inexpensive as well, especially compared to other texting platforms. And it will do this automated texting. So when we're talking about the 3 to 6 and 11.5 month check-ins with your customers, or the LRP support text messages, or a welcome campaign that you want to send to your people. You can drop them all within your texting platform and have them go out automatically. And you just decide, I want one to go out every single day for the next 7 days, or however often you want it to go out. Or you can say, I want it to specifically go out on the 14th of every month, to remind them that their order is going to process, whatever it might be. You can update that here. And I actually have I have assistants that will do this setup for you. So if you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds so great, but that sounds so overwhelming to try and actually drop everything in there, then I have people that can help you do that, so that you don't have to, even if you just want that one-time setup and then you're good, let me know. And I have people that can do that for you. And Project Broadcast, by the way, for those of you that are international, this only works for the US and Canada, but there are other ones. I think Twilio might work internationally, and a few other ones as well. The last resource I wanted to share with you before I jump off is Wovoto. They actually have a free plan forever, as long, there's no like trial, and it includes one landing page and a quick links page. So a quick link page is like if you go to Instagram and you click on somebody's bio and it shows all those quick links to like, go schedule an appointment with me or go do this. It includes one of those for free, and it includes a landing page with whatever you want. I don't know how customizable it is because it's on the free one. And then a sampling funnels where people, if you send them a form and they say, yes, I'm interested in samples, and then they fill out this form, and then you get an email that says so-and-so is interested in samples, then you can start following up with them. It also includes one doTERRA newsletter every month, because they've created a partnership with doTERRA where their websites and other things actually bring in a lot of doTERRA content on some of these higher plans. It also includes, you can put 500 contacts in here for free, and that's all like on the free plan, which is so cool. And then if ever you decide that you're ready for your own personal website and more down the road as your business grows, then you can do some of these other plans. But I love Wovoto. That's actually where my website is built too. And I'm not even doing Wovoto or doing doTERRA. That's just like for my whole other business, but I love the templates and the platform that they have. So I know that I've just fire hosed you. So maybe take a quick breath really quick. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for dropping those links in the chat. Before I jump off, I'll hang out for another 10 minutes. If you have other questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you're wondering, is there a platform that does X, or how do I make X happen? I'm here to answer questions. So let me know what I can do for you. In the meantime, I do have a lot of different ways that I can support you, both with Trello or with my assistant program. A big part of what I do, right? I think today I've now hit about 140 clients where I've helped them to find an assistant for their business, which is so fun. And with doTERRA specifically, because that's what my background is, I actually train assistants to support you specifically. And I've had them go through my Basecamp training where they learn about some of the tools like OneDrop, watermarking OneDrop images. And, if you don't know what OneDrop is, maybe I'll show you that really quick. I also teach them a little bit about Wovoto or whatever else you're wanting them to do. I teach them how to support you in the things that you're doing. And I have them even learn some of these Trello templates, so they get an idea of the process, even if you don't use Trello, just the basic process that you might be following in your business so that they can support you. So if you're, and thank you so much, Jennifer, for putting those links in the chat so that you can learn more. We'll also include my contact page. I think it's meganlloyd.org contact. Let me go find it really quick. And you can schedule an appointment with me if you want to know more about any of these other services and resources that I do. Here you go. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I know that I just gave you a lot of information. What can I do? What questions do you have? Okay, they say, thank you very much, Megan. Super helpful. Awesome. It's so great to see you both, Enrica and Eleonora, again. Hi. Awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, then we'll send some email out so that you have some of the things that we talked about. Oh, thank you, Elaine. You're amazing too. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Good luck with your business and Happy New Year. Bye, everybody.